Hey, this is Nick Pollard, and I'm going to introduce our most recent report, Rich Mega Techs Force of Broadening of Tech Exposure. So this is for our ETF Looking Glass series, which focuses on ETF strategy. So, of course, the start of this year has had a really impressive run by a lot of the mega cap tech names. As a result, what we see right now is a pretty big divergence in valuations between larger and smaller tech names. So what we have here on the purple line is the relative valuations of larger tech companies to smaller tech companies. And you can see at the most recent reading, the premium of large cap tech names to small cap tech names on a EV to sales basis is comparable to the extremes that we saw during the 2000s tech bubble. On the other hand, what we see on this blue line is that technology spending, as proxied by our digital deflation intensity measure, is in fact slowing. And this is a 6-month smooth average. The most recent reading was actually negative 1.8, so down over there. What does this mean in terms of market strategy? Well, while this might be an extreme dislocation, other areas of the markets don't necessarily see those extremes. So two of our primary risk measures, one that looks at crowding, the CPQ, or Cirrus polarization quotient, and one that looks at risk appetites, the Cirrus risk score, are both within regular bounds. So while they have been rising, there's no reason to think that market crowding is out of control, and there's no reason to think that risk appetites have reached the exuberant levels that often precede a crash. So from that perspective, one has to position carefully to avoid a later correction while still taking advantage of an expanding market. So from that perspective, we've focused on going down cap rather than, say, moving from a market-weighted ETF to an equal-weighted ETF or one of those other ways of limiting exposure to the mega caps. In particular, one of the ETFs that we highlighted was PSCT, the Invesco Small Cap Information Technology ETF. So this scores well on our growth models and has a attractive valuation score as compared to other tech ETFs. What we have here is, we're comparing this ETF to the large and mid-cap technology sector. So, yes, we've seen a pretty strong underperformance and outperformance by the LM technology sector versus, in this dotted line, the ETF performance. But in other areas, such as top-line growth, we've actually seen these smaller tech companies hold up better as compared to the larger peers. And valuations, both in terms of trailing EV to sales and trailing EV to EBITDA, we can see that these valuations have yet to reach the extremes in smaller companies that they have in their larger cap peers. This is a period where the economy continues to expand. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic about technology companies, but at the same time, we do see this very large divergence. So that's why we're focusing on these smaller cap ETFs. For the full report, check out our website, and I would also recommend checking out the industry outliers that we recently put out, which also puts an emphasis on some of the industries within the technology sector that we see as stretched. Thank you.